I wanted to do more research into the computational thinking just because I didn't really understand it, and I came across a website that gave concepts into it, and it kind of made me think of this, and this related to my tech article about interactive whiteboards. My Spanish teacher in high school had an interactive whiteboard, and some of the concepts I found about computational thinking reminded me of like some of the things we did on that whiteboard. So breaking a problem into parts or steps, recognizing and finding patterns, develop instructions to solve a problem, and generalize patterns and trends into rules, principles, or insights. A lot of what we had to do in Spanish was conjugate and change the words, and so it was really easy for her to use this board, and it was interactive for us, but it was also really fun to get to go up there ourselves and like draw on the board or like drag things and place them, and we could like take apart the words and break them down into smaller units of Spanish to put together and kind of figure out. So I always thought that board was really cool, and that was the only classroom I'd ever seen it in. So I thought it was really cool and also related a lot to computational thinking. Another thing that I looked into was ways Snapchat could be used in classrooms, because I've never really thought about how that could be done or just like the benefit of it. And one thing that came across was reminders, and I thought this would be really good to suggest to my sorority. So I did that, just reminding us like when things are due and that kind of stuff. And that's how teachers used it to remind students like, oh, we have a test this Friday. And students are constantly, even in high school, I was looking at Snapchat. So if my teacher had a Snapchat story saying like, oh, reminder, we have a test Friday, that would have been so helpful, just because you forget those things. One thing I came across was like congratulating students over a Snapchat story. I thought that was really cool if someone did well on a test or just achieved something that in an academic competition that was like important to them, to put it on your Snapchat story, and then the whole class would see that. I thought that was cool and could work really well, especially for students that are younger, just because Snapchat is popular among like younger students. And I also came across a psychology professor that did it. He would send videos or pictures through Snapchat that pertained to the lesson, and kind of showed them how like what they were learning in class connected to like things outside of the classroom and real life situations. And so that went back to computational thinking in the sense that computational thinking is trying to get students to connect things inside the classroom and outside of the classroom, and kind of brings in those real world experiences. So I thought that was pretty cool that teacher at the college had used his Snapchat to do that and share it with the students.